You're setting your goals in the wrong way. You've been taught for years what goals are, how to set them, and those methods are not only outdated, they are preventing you from actually hitting your goals. So let's take a look at the mistakes people make setting goals that are costing them the achievement of those goals. And I know this is going to be controversial. I know it's going to go against what you've been taught. But hear me out, because I know it's going to make a massive difference on your results, on your life, and actually hitting those things that matter most to you in your life. All right, so let's dive in. Hey, my name is Gavin Weber, and this is my YouTube channel, and it's around how to be happy, right? And not just around how to be happy, but also why being in joy, why happiness actually helps you get the results you want, get you in the vibration that attracts what you want. And when you're happy, you enjoy what you're doing and you stick with it. And then it helps you get that clarity for fulfillment and for purpose. And you enjoy your life to the fullest, right? So this is today. I've written books on goals. I wrote a book that was on Amazon, sold over 5,000 copies, called Unconventional Goal Setting. It was years ago, and since then I've taken it down. But about this time of year, this is January, I meant to do this a few weeks ago, I see so many people like goals, goals, goals. And everybody talks about setting goals in the same way. And I'm not going to go through like those traditional ways. Today, I'm going to show you and describe 6 mistakes people make. This is part 1. On part 2, I'm going to go through how to set goals. In today's age, that's a lot more empowering, a lot more helpful, so you actually hit the goals every single time. And then I'm going to follow up with a part 3 of like how to stay the course, how to, have some helpful things that make sure those goals are hit. All right. So number 1 thing that I see people make the mistake, and these aren't actually in any particular order, but is to mainly only focus on like the result. They set a goal of like, okay, I want, let's just say this kind of money, right? And there's no consideration of why. There's no meaning. There's no purpose behind that. Sure, like if it's money, they're like, oh, I want to pay the bills, or oh, I want to be rich, right? But there's no substance behind that. And that's a major problem. And I'll talk more about that in part 2 of what needs to happen instead. But, what happens is if you don't have a big enough why with your goal, when the obstacles come and when things don't go as planned, it's probably going to like say, oh, this didn't matter that much to me. And I'm going to quit, going to fail, going to stop, going to change course, because there wasn't any meaning, purpose, or why. Like, what did it really mean? Why'd you set that goal? Okay. And usually people just like come up with goals of a result, like, oh, this would be nice. Okay. Not going to cut it. Number 2, most of the time it's like people have no plan. There's no plan to set it. It's more like a hope. It's like, hey, I'm going to, put this out there. This sounds good. Right. And what happens is, I'll share more about this, but they're setting their goals on the wrong thing. They're focusing on things that don't matter. And because of that, of course, the goals don't happen. It's like a distraction. It's like going in the wrong direction, right? And if they don't have the focus towards a specific plan, then of course, they're not going to arrive to their destination, right? Number 3, this is, a lot of people are going to say, gosh, I don't agree with this, Gavin. And I would say using time frames at all, or having a time frame that's limited, right? And I'll teach you what I would recommend instead. But it's one of the biggest sabotages with goal setting is I, want to hit this goal by this certain time, right? And a lot of times, enough of that time, let's say it's in 1 year, well, let's say a few weeks in or a few months in, they're nowhere near hitting that goal. Then a lot of times people quit again, right? Also, people set it thinking, oh, it's going to motivate me. And like maybe like at the end of the year, it's like, okay, now I've got to like make up a whole year's worth of this goal within 3 months. And of course they fall short again. So putting the time parameter in there, people think, oh, it's helpful. I would say it's counterproductive. I found that in my own case. And there's something that you can do that is so much more helpful that, again, I'll share with you, right? But that time parameter is an issue. Number 4, so many people, I've done this, so many people set goals to motivate themselves. They set a goal on something they don't want to do. They're like, gosh, if I just set that goal, then that will make me work towards it. It'll make me inspired to get up each day, and I'm going to hit this goal. And yet they could care less about it. In fact, they don't want to do anything having to do with that goal. So no wonder it doesn't happen. No wonder that they quit that goal. And it's very short-lived almost all the time. When you set a goal that you could care less about, or you're using to motivate yourself, you're set up for failure. It's just not going to happen. And it's a lack of creativity. It's a lack of really being aware of yourself and that intention of what you should be focusing on. So number 5, not having a detailed goal that you can absolutely feel and see, and like it's real to you. Okay, so a lot of times these goals are not really believable to people, and they can't really get their mind around it. And that's really this world. I'm not going to go into great detail, but what's happening is this: everything in front of you is a reflection of your creation of what you currently believe is possible. And yes, we can go beyond what we currently think is possible. That's called growth. But it's usually this, stair-step process. And when you have goals that are hollow, that are just, like I said already, kind of meaningless, but aren't detailed and something you can't see and feel and like touch, right? Then they're not going to be real. They're always going to be distant. And there's going to be this void. There's going to be this separation between you and your goal. You have to become your goals. You have to know your goals. You have to feel your goals. And you have to have confidence that your goals are going to happen. And I would, give you a little hint, a knowing, and absolutely 100% feeling that they are in the process and they've already happened. Okay, so that is one little hint. But it's got to be ownership with that. Okay, and most people their goals aren't detailed, right? It's just one sentence. I want this blank, blank, blank. Okay, not going to cut it. All right. Number 6. Most people set goals that have nothing to do with serving other people or making an impact or helping. Okay, so no wonder it feels like goals are heavy, aren't inspiring, not fulfilling, because they're selfish goals. You're making it all about yourself, right? And not necessarily how it's going to impact somebody else's life. With your business, with your, money, with your job. How can you set goals in a way that are purposeful, that you're making a difference? And I'll go into a lot more detail on that in part 2. But, with these 6 things, again, to review them, number 1, that you kind of focus on just the result, right? Instead of the why and the purpose and the meaning and fulfillment. Number 2, you don't really have a plan and not developing potentially setting a goal towards a skill set or towards a behavior or a feeling, right? And therefore, it's a hope. It's not anything really connecting. And you'll see how these are all kind of congruent, all of these 6 things. Also, the time frame, setting a time frame just to try to motivate you. I would argue that having a time frame on it not only hurts you, but makes it potentially longer for you to take you to hit it. Okay, and I can show you how to change that. Also, people basically focus on a motivation thing to where they set a goal to try to motivate them. Terrible idea. It's not going to work. Number 5 is that you don't have the detail where you can see your goals, that you can, know your goals, and that you literally have this vivid picture of exactly it unfolding. It's crucial. And 6, there's no impact. It's no impact. Your goals have nothing to do with anybody else or what that would mean for somebody else's life from a point of impact or service. So those are where people are failing. I could list quite a few more, but it's like that intention, that focus, what goals are doing it's a process of a vision, right? And when you don't have that clarity, then there is going to be major holes in the whole system. And eventually those holes become seen, they become exposed, and piece by piece, it all starts falling down like a house of cards, right? And that's why you're only hitting a few goals a year. That's why something feels off. That's why maybe you dread, like, oh, I've got to set these goals. And there's this subconscious part of your mind that's like, I don't like setting goals because I don't hit them very often, right? So one of the secrets I'll tell you is you don't set anything unless it very much excites you, that it's very inspiring, and that it is going to be something that you're going to hit, right? I'll talk more about that. But that's the video for today. I'm so excited. This is one of the first videos on this channel. If you haven't followed me, please subscribe. I am going to have and help you create a blissful, meaningful, purposeful, fulfilling life where all day you're excited in that moment, expressing your joy, having fun with life, not taking anything too seriously, and then taking that and going out into the world and creating and showing yourself what's possible, showing other people what's possible, blessing people with your gifts, right? And so I used to be very, I don't know, you could say there's times I was depressed, there's times I was lonely, there's times I was like blah about life. And these last few years, I've really tapped into how no matter what's going on in your life, you can be happy, you can create your dreams. And this is kind of turning everything upside down. This isn't about out there and the results, it's about what's within you. And centering on that, and then letting that be the expression that unfolds in your life. So subscribe if you haven't, like, comment, ask me any questions, and I will be showing you video number 2 here hopefully soon. So you can hit that bell button and it'll notify you when any new videos come out. And share this with friends. Like if you have somebody you would like to have a partnership with, like a buddy system where you're gonna follow this 3-part system, you can have a discussion about it, hold each other accountable, and I have a lot of cool new things coming up that I'm going to be doing whatever I can to be of service to you. Much love, my friends. Go have a blissful day, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.